This video is about what is cross-disciplinary research. You often hear, you probably have heard the term before being used if you are doing research, and it's even used within professional and practice circles. So I will go through and give an idea about what is cross-disciplinary research in general. The material reference for this video to look up is in a book called the Toolbox Dialogue Initiative, The Power of Cross-Disciplinary Practice, and also I've included the full reference for you to look up. So a good way to think about cross-disciplinarity is by thinking of research or practice disciplines as communities. So if you are in a community of, say, discipline A, it is common that you will share a way of life with other members of that community, including practice, methods, and intellectual problems that you deal with. These all come together, marking off a distinct disciplinary worldview about a specific research problem. So in cross-disciplinary research and practice, what we are doing as researchers or practitioners is basically we are crossing disciplinary boundaries. So we can combine elements of their diverse worldviews. Such projects can be done by individuals and groups, as well as groups of groups, networks, and so on. So an example that the authors gave was an engineer who thinks about the cultural impact of their work apart from their engineering work. So apart from their technical engineering work. In this way, he or she, that engineer, will engage in cross-disciplinarity if they are thinking about the cultural aspects of their work. Same can be said about a group of engineers or those doing, say, sociology research or other types of research, say, and so on. Now, another important point, really critical point to consider when we talk about cross-disciplinary research is that it is a generic term that applies to and covers other terms. And these commonly you might also I've come across them when I was doing my PhD and I had to figure them out. These include multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary research. Each of these terms correspond to different ways in which we can combine disciplinary inputs. If we change the research inputs a little, for example, say we do a project report that includes sections on, say, culture, politics, economics, hydrology, and so on, then the work we are doing is considered multidisciplinary because the change, if we change the research inputs just a little bit. If we change ideas more significantly, for example, cultural, economic, political factors, etc., all included in a single model, then the work we are doing is considered interdisciplinary. So there are different factors being considered in one model. And if we change ideas to the point of novelty, for example, where these same cultural, economic, political, hydrological, etc. perspectives give rise to a new field, then we can consider the work to be transdisciplinary. But something to keep in mind is that transdisciplinarity in research is used to indicate also the involvement of non-academic collaborators in research to produce the outcome or solution or research output. Final useful notes to think about in regards to cross-disciplinary research is that disciplines are useful to identify administrative structures, like, for example, academic units in a university, like the Department of, say, Medicine, the Department of Physics, and so on. But not all academic units have researchers who share the same worldviews. Departments can amalgamate different disciplines together. The second point to note is that disciplines are also useful to identify groups of researchers attached with professional organizations and established community structures like journals and conferences. And finally, discipline and the notion of what they call epistemic community in relation to epistemology has a lot in common. It has got much in common. Epistemic communities are groups of people who share an interest in a specific set of intellectual problems and in ways of working to meet those challenges. So not all epistemic communities are disciplines. Members of a particular department may form an epistemic community, but that community is not large or stable enough to count as a discipline. In contrast, disciplines are epistemic communities that are stable enough to become larger over time and significant enough to form academic units or professional societies. So hopefully this video gave you a quick and useful way to understand what is cross-disciplinary research.